My husband has been going to the gym at 5 a.m. every day for 6 months. Today I followed him. What I found destroyed everything. I'm sitting in my car across the street from a building that definitely isn't a gym. It's 5:47 a.m. I've been following my husband for 20 minutes, watching him park his car, grab his gym bag, and walk through the doors of what looks like an office building. For 6 months, my husband has been leaving our house at 4:45 a.m. every single morning, telling me he's going to the gym before work. He's lost 30 pounds. He looks incredible. I was so proud of him. But 3 days ago, I called his gym to add myself to his membership as a surprise for his birthday, and they told me he canceled his membership 5 months ago. So this morning, I set my alarm for 4:30, pretended to be asleep when he left, and followed him. And now I'm watching him walk into a building with a sign that says New Horizons Support Center. I don't know what that means. I don't know why he lied, but I'm about to find out. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel where we explore the secrets hiding in plain sight in everyday relationships. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because today's story is about trust, assumptions, and the moment you realize you don't know your partner as well as you thought. This is real, it's raw, and it's happening in marriages everywhere. Let's get into it. The original poster, let's call her Lisa, is 39 years old, working as a human resources manager for a tech company in Denver. She describes herself as practical and observant, the kind of person who color codes her calendar and notices when someone changes their routine. She has this habit of drinking coffee from the same mug every morning, a chipped ceramic one that says, "World's okayest mom," that her daughter made in art class. Keeps every birthday card she's ever received in a box in her closet, and still gets nervous before giving presentations even after 15 years in her career. Lisa has been married to her husband, Kevin, for 12 years. They met at a mutual friend's wedding. He was the best man. She was a bridesmaid. He'd made her laugh during the rehearsal by doing a terrible impression of the officiant. He had this way of making even mundane situations feel lighter, had a genuine smile that reached his eyes, and collected vintage concert posters, even though he'd never been to most of the shows. They have two kids, Emma, age 10, and Noah, age 7. The usual suburban life: soccer practice, parent-teacher conferences, movie nights on Fridays. Kevin works as a project manager at a construction company. Lisa works her HR job. They're not rich, but comfortable. Not passionately in love like newlyweds, but solid, committed partners. Lisa writes, "I thought I knew Kevin completely. We've been together for 14 years total. I know he secretly hates cilantro, but won't say anything if it's in food at someone's house. I know he tears up at the end of It's a Wonderful Life every Christmas. I know he checks on the kids one more time before bed, even though they're definitely asleep. I thought I knew everything about him." 6 months ago, Kevin announced he was joining a gym. This wasn't completely out of the blue. He'd been talking about getting healthier, losing some weight. He'd put on about 40 pounds over the years, standard middle-aged metabolism slowdown, combined with an office job and a love for late-night snacking. "I'm going to start going to the gym before work," he'd said one Sunday night. "Get up early, get it done, before the day gets away from me." "That's great, honey," Lisa had said, supportive. "Which gym?" "Power Fit, the one near my office. They have 24-hour access. Want me to join with you? We could go together." "No, no. I think I need to do this on my own first. Get into a routine. Maybe after a few months you can join if you want." Lisa had been fine with that. She wasn't really a morning person anyway. The next morning, Kevin's alarm went off at 4:30 a.m. Lisa groaned, rolled over, went back to sleep. When she woke up at 6:30, Kevin was already back, showered, looking energized. "How was it?" she'd asked. "Good. Feels great to get moving. I'm going to keep this up." And he did, every single morning. Monday through Saturday, 4:30 a.m. alarm, out the door by 4:45, back by 6:15. Lisa was impressed. Kevin had started many fitness routines over the years, bought a treadmill that became a clothes rack, joined gyms he'd visit for 2 weeks, then never again. But this time was different. He was consistent, committed, and the results showed. After 2 months, Kevin had lost 15 pounds. After 4 months, 25. After 6 months, 30 pounds. He looked better than he had in years, bought new clothes that actually fit, had more energy, seemed happier. Lisa was proud of him, told all their friends about his transformation, posted a before and after photo on Facebook for his birthday last month with the caption, 6 months of dedication. So proud of this man. The comments flooded in. He looks amazing. What's his secret? You must be so proud. And she was proud. Kevin had set a goal and achieved it. He was healthier, more confident, more engaged with the family. Until 3 days ago when Lisa decided to do something nice for Kevin's upcoming 40th birthday. She called PowerFit Gym, the one Kevin said he'd join. Hi, I'd like to add myself to my husband's membership. His name is Kevin Morrison. Let me check our system. I'm not seeing a Kevin Morrison as a current member. Are you sure? He's been coming every morning for 6 months. Let me check inactive memberships. Oh, here we go. Kevin Morrison. He was a member but canceled 5 months ago. Lisa's stomach dropped. Canceled? Are you sure? Yes, ma'am. Canceled on March 15th. Only had the membership for about 3 weeks. Thank you, Lisa said automatically, then hung up. She sat at her desk, mind racing. Kevin canceled his gym membership 5 months ago, but had continued leaving the house at 4:45 a.m. every morning. Where was he going? An affair. That was the first thought. The obvious thought. Classic signs, sudden interest in fitness, looking better, early morning absences. But it didn't quite fit. Kevin came home sweaty. His gym bag smelled like he'd been working out. He talked about his workouts, which machines he used, how much weight he was lifting, how he was improving his mile time. Unless he was working out somewhere else, with someone else. Lisa felt sick. She went home early that day claiming a headache. That night at dinner, she watched Kevin carefully. He seemed normal. Ate his chicken and vegetables. He'd been eating healthier too, she'd noticed. Helped Noah with homework. Kissed Lisa goodnight before bed. Early alarm tomorrow? She asked, keeping her voice casual. Yep, 4:30 as always. Don't know how I ever slept in before. He smiled, that genuine smile, the one that had made her fall in love with him. And she smiled back, pretending everything was fine. But that night after Kevin fell asleep, Lisa lay awake, planning. Tomorrow morning she'd follow him, find out where he was really going. She set her phone alarm for 4:20 a.m., volume low, vibrate only. When it went off, she silenced it immediately. Kevin's alarm went off 10 minutes later. She kept her eyes closed, breathing steady, pretending to be asleep. She heard him get up, move quietly around the room getting dressed. Heard him grab his gym bag from the closet. Heard him leave the bedroom, close the door softly behind him. Lisa waited 2 minutes, then got up, threw on clothes, grabbed her keys and phone, tiptoed past the kids' rooms. They were still asleep. Wouldn't wake up until her mother-in-law arrived at 7 a.m. to get them ready for school. Their usual routine on days Lisa had early meetings. She made it to her car just as Kevin's taillights disappeared down the street. She followed at a distance, heart pounding. Kevin didn't go toward his office, where PowerFit Gym was located. He went in the opposite direction, toward the older part of town, past the historic district, into an area Lisa rarely visited. He parked in front of a 3-story brick building. The sign out front said, New Horizons Support Center. Lisa parked across the street, watched Kevin get out, grab his gym bag, and walk through the front entrance like he belonged there. What the hell was New Horizons Support Center? Lisa pulled out her phone, Googled it. The website was vague. New Horizons offers support and community for individuals and families navigating life transitions. Our programs provide safe spaces for growth, healing, and connection. That could mean anything: therapy, support groups, addiction recovery. Lisa sat in her car, shaking. She should go in there, confront him, demand to know what was happening. But what if it was something private, something he wasn't ready to share? What if she embarrassed him? Or what if it was an affair and she walked in on something that would destroy their marriage right there? She sat paralyzed, watching the building. At 6:05 a.m., Kevin emerged. His hair was wet. He'd showered. He was wearing different clothes than he'd arrived in. He looked tired but satisfied, the same look he had every morning when he came home from the gym. He got in his car and drove away. Lisa waited 5 minutes, then got out of her car and walked to the building entrance. The front door was unlocked. She stepped into a small lobby. There was a reception desk, empty this early, a bulletin board covered in flyers, a hallway leading to various rooms. Lisa looked at the bulletin board. Flyers for different programs. Grief support group, Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Art therapy for trauma survivors, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Early morning meditation, daily, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Alcoholics Anonymous, multiple times throughout the week. Cancer support group, Thursdays, 6:30 p.m. And one that made Lisa's blood run cold. Moving forward, support group for parents of lost children, Saturdays, 10 a.m. and daily early morning sessions, 5 a.m. Lisa stared at the flyer. Parents of lost children. They had 2 healthy children. They'd never lost a child. Unless, no, that was impossible. She would know. She would remember, wouldn't she? Stop right here with me. You're Lisa. You just discovered your husband has been lying about going to the gym for 6 months. Instead, he's been going to a support center that offers programs for grief, addiction, and trauma. You saw a flyer for a support group for parents who've lost children. Your first thought is, we haven't lost a child. But what if there's something in your past you've blocked out? Something so painful you can't remember it? Would you walk into that building and demand answers? Or would you go home and wait for your husband to tell you the truth? Because what Lisa does next, and what she discovers, will make you question everything you think you know about memory, grief, and marriage. Lisa stood in the lobby of New Horizons Support Center, staring at the flyer about parents who'd lost children, trying to make sense of something that didn't make sense. Then she heard voices, coming from down the hallway, a group of people emerging from one of the rooms. Lisa panicked, ducked into a small waiting area, hid behind a magazine rack. She watched as about 8 or 9 people walked past. Mixed ages, mixed genders, all looking tired but somehow lighter than when they'd probably arrived. The after effect of sharing something heavy with people who understood. She didn't recognize any of them. Kevin wasn't among them. He'd already left. After they'd gone, Lisa crept down the hallway, found the room they'd emerged from, a simple meeting room with folding chairs arranged in a circle, a coffee station in the corner, a whiteboard that said "New beginnings are possible" in blue marker. "Can I help you?" Lisa jumped, turned to find a woman in her 50s, kind eyes wearing a lanyard that identified her as Patricia Chen, program director. I, I'm sorry, I was looking for information about your programs. Patricia smiled. We have brochures in the lobby, or I can answer questions if you'd like. The early morning group, the one for parents who've lost children. What does that involve? Patricia's expression softened. It's a support group. We meet daily at 5 a.m. for parents who are working through the grief of losing a child. The early morning time works better for people who have jobs and other children. They can attend before the day begins. Do you know if my husband attends? Lisa heard herself ask. I can't share information about specific participants. Privacy is very important in our programs. But if your husband is attending, it's because he needs support. Are you dealing with a loss? I don't think so. We have 2 children. They're healthy. I don't remember losing a child. Patricia's expression changed to concern. You don't remember? That sounds insane, I know, but I saw my husband come here, and I can't figure out why he would be in a group for parents who've lost children when we haven't. Patricia gestured to her office. Would you like to sit down? They sat in her small office. Patricia made tea. Lisa felt like she was having an out-of-body experience. Sometimes, Patricia said gently, partners grieve differently. Sometimes one partner needs support that the other doesn't. Or sometimes trauma is processed in different ways. Memory can be a complicated thing. Are you saying I might have blocked out losing a child? I'm saying grief is complex, and if your husband is seeking support here, it's because he needs it. The question is whether you want to talk to him about why. Lisa left the building with more questions than answers. Drove home in a daze. Her mother-in-law was there when she arrived, getting the kids ready for school. "You're home early," her mother-in-law Diane said. "Meeting got canceled," Lisa lied. "Thanks for getting them ready." After Diane left and the kids were at school, Lisa sat in the quiet house and tried to think. Had they lost a child? Was there something she wasn't remembering? She went to the closet where she kept photo albums, started going through them systematically. Emma's baby photos, Noah's baby photos, their family growing from 3 to 4, no gaps, no missing child. She checked their family tree documents, insurance papers, anything that might reference a third child. Nothing. She called her sister Jenny. "Hey, weird question. Did we ever lose a child?" Silence on the other end. Then, "What? No. Where is this coming from? I'm just, there's something I'm trying to figure out. You're sure?" "Lisa, I think I'd remember if my sister had lost a child. You have Emma and Noah. That's it. Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine, just tired. Forget I asked." But she couldn't forget. Because why would Kevin be attending a support group for parents who'd lost children if they hadn't? Lisa spent the day researching, looked up miscarriages, stillbirths, infant loss, tried to find any medical records, any hospital stays, anything that might trigger a memory. Nothing. When Kevin came home from work that evening, Lisa watched him carefully. He seemed normal. Kissed her hello, asked about her day, helped kids with homework, ate the dinner she'd made. Then, after the kids went to bed, they sat on the couch watching TV. A commercial came on for a children's hospital. Kevin's expression changed, just for a second. A flash of pain, quickly hidden. "Kevin," Lisa said carefully, "can I ask you something?" "Of course. Are you happy?" He looked surprised. "Yeah, why?" "You seem, I don't know, different lately, but in a good way. You've been so dedicated to your health. You have more energy. I'm proud of you. But I also want to make sure everything's okay. Between us." Kevin took her hand. "Everything's great. I'm in the best place I've been in years, honestly. The gym routine has been life-changing." The lie was so smooth, so natural. If Lisa hadn't known it was a lie, she would have believed him completely. "The gym has been that impactful?" she pressed. "Yeah, exercise, you know. It's not just physical, it's mental health too. I feel like I'm processing things better, dealing with stress better." "What kind of things are you processing?" Kevin looked at her for a long moment. She could see him considering something. Then, "Just work stuff, life stuff, the usual." He wasn't going to tell her. Whatever was happening at New Horizons, he wasn't ready to share it. Lisa decided to do something she'd never done in 12 years of marriage. She went through Kevin's things. The next day, after Kevin left for the gym and the kids left for school, Lisa went into Kevin's home office, opened his desk drawers, his filing cabinet, looking for, she didn't know what, evidence, answers. In the bottom drawer of his filing cabinet, hidden under tax documents from 5 years ago, she found a folder. Inside the folder, medical documents, hospital bills, grief counseling receipts, all dated from 10 years ago, 1 year before Emma was born. Lisa's hands shook as she read through them, saw her own name on the documents, saw Kevin's name, saw a date she didn't remember, a stillbirth, a baby girl, born at 32 weeks, didn't survive. Her name would have been Charlotte. Lisa sat on the floor of Kevin's office and felt her world tilt. They'd lost a daughter, 10 years ago, a daughter she didn't remember. How was that possible? She kept reading, found notes from a therapist she didn't remember seeing. The notes mentioned significant trauma response, dissociative amnesia. Patient has blocked out the entire pregnancy and loss. The patient was her, Lisa. According to these documents, she'd gotten pregnant 10 years ago, made it to 32 weeks, then something went wrong. The baby was stillborn. Lisa had apparently fallen into severe depression and developed dissociative amnesia. Her mind had completely blocked out the pregnancy and the loss as a defense mechanism. The therapist's notes said Kevin had agreed to support Lisa's coping mechanism, to not bring up Charlotte, to let Lisa's mind heal in its own way, to act as if it had never happened. For 10 years, Kevin had been carrying the grief of losing a daughter alone, while Lisa's mind had erased it completely. And 6 months ago, Kevin apparently couldn't carry it alone anymore. So he'd started attending the support group at New Horizons. Lisa didn't know how long she sat on that floor, crying, holding medical documents about a daughter she didn't remember, a daughter she'd carried for 7 months, a daughter she'd lost. Charlotte. She had no memory of being pregnant, no memory of the loss, no memory of the grief that must have consumed her so completely that her mind had shut down to protect itself. And Kevin had lived with this secret for 10 years, had grieved alone, had protected Lisa's mental health at the cost of his own, until 6 months ago. Lisa heard the garage door open. Kevin, home from work. She quickly shoved the documents back in the folder back in the drawer, wiped her eyes, splashed water on her face in the bathroom. She met Kevin in the kitchen, looked at the man she'd been married to for 12 years, the man who'd been carrying a grief this heavy while pretending everything was fine. "Hey," he said, kissing her forehead. "How was your day?" It was good. How was yours?" "Long. I'm exhausted. I think I'll skip the gym tomorrow morning, actually." "Sleep in." It was Saturday tomorrow. The support group met at 10 a.m. on Saturdays, according to the flyer, not 5 a.m. "You deserve a break," Lisa said. "You've been so consistent." They made dinner together, put the kids to bed, sat on the couch. Lisa wanted to confront him, wanted to say, "I know about Charlotte. I know about New Horizons. I know you've been lying." But she couldn't. Because what if talking about it brought back memories she couldn't handle? What if her mind had blocked it out for a good reason? Or what if the reason she couldn't remember wasn't trauma at all? Would you have kept digging at this point or let it go? Because Lisa just discovered she apparently lost a daughter 10 years ago and has no memory of it. Medical documents say she developed dissociative amnesia. Her husband has been protecting her by never mentioning it. But something about this doesn't sit right with me. And it didn't sit right with Lisa either. Because when she really thought about 10 years ago, when she tried to remember that time in her life, she didn't find a blank space where memories should be. She found something else. Something that made her question whether those medical documents were telling the truth at all. Lisa couldn't sleep. She lay next to Kevin, listening to him breathe, thinking about Charlotte, the daughter she supposedly didn't remember. Except when she thought about 10 years ago, she did have memories, clear ones. 10 years ago, she'd been 29, working at a different company. She and Kevin had been married for 2 years. They'd been trying to get pregnant. She remembered that, remembered the disappointment every month when her period came, remembered fertility discussions with her doctor. And then she'd gotten pregnant with Emma. She remembered the positive pregnancy test, remembered telling Kevin, remembered the whole pregnancy, the morning sickness, the cravings for pickles and ice cream, the ultrasounds, the baby shower her sister threw. Emma had been born healthy, their first child. No pregnancy before that. So how could there have been a Charlotte? Unless Lisa got out of bed carefully, went downstairs to the computer, started researching dissociative amnesia, found that it was rare, very rare, and it didn't usually erase months of memories selectively. If Lisa had blocked out a traumatic pregnancy loss, she likely would have blocked out other things from that time period too. But she had clear memories of her life from 10 years ago. She remembered everything except a pregnancy that the medical documents said happened. Lisa pulled up her work emails from 10 years ago. She was obsessive about archiving everything. Scrolled through her calendar. There were no doctor's appointments for OB visits. No gaps in her work schedule that would suggest maternity leave or medical leave. She looked at photos from that year. In pictures from the time she supposedly would have been visibly pregnant, she was clearly not pregnant. The medical documents said the stillbirth happened in August 10 years ago. Lisa found photos from July of that year, a company picnic. She was wearing a fitted dress, completely flat stomach, no visible pregnancy. The documents were lying, or they were fake. But why? Lisa went back to Kevin's filing cabinet, looked at the hospital documents more carefully, noticed the hospital name, Mercy General Medical Center. She Googled it. Mercy General had closed 7 years ago, went bankrupt. Records were transferred to another hospital system. She looked at the therapist's name on the counseling receipts. Dr. Sarah Mitchell. Googled her. Found an obituary. Dr. Sarah Mitchell had died 8 years ago. None of this could be verified. The hospital was closed. The therapist was dead. These documents could have been entirely fabricated, but by who and why? Lisa's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Mrs. Morrison, this is Patricia Chen from New Horizons. I wanted to reach out personally. If you'd like to talk about your husband's participation in our program, please call me. I think there are things you should know. Lisa's hands shook. She called the number. Patricia answered immediately. Lisa, thank you for calling. How did you get my number? Your husband listed you as an emergency contact when he registered for our program. Lisa, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Your husband isn't attending our grief support group for parents who've lost children. But I saw the flyer. I watched him go into that building. Yes, he comes to our facility, but not for that group. He's been attending our early morning group for something else entirely. What group? Patricia was quiet for a moment. I shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm concerned. Your husband is attending our support group for compulsive liars and relationship deceit recovery. Lisa felt her stomach drop. What? It's a program for people who have patterns of lying to their partners, who want to break that pattern but don't know how. Your husband has been coming every morning for 6 months, working through why he lies, how to stop, how to rebuild trust. Kevin's been lying to me. According to what he's shared in group, yes, extensively, for years, but he wants to change. That's why he's here. Lisa felt like she couldn't breathe. What has he been lying about? I can't share details from his sessions, but Lisa, those medical documents you found, did you verify them? How do you know about? Because creating fake documents about a traumatic event is a common pattern for compulsive liars. They build elaborate backstories to explain their behavior, to gain sympathy, to avoid accountability. Your husband mentioned in group that he'd created a safety story in case you discovered he was coming to New Horizons. He was terrified you'd think he was having an affair, so he created documents about a lost child that would make you feel too guilty to push for more answers. Lisa sat down hard. So there was no Charlotte. I don't know, I'm not privy to all the details. But what I do know is your husband has been lying to you about many things, and he's been trying to get help for it. The question is whether he's ready to tell you the truth himself, or if you're going to force the conversation. After they hung up, Lisa sat in the dark living room of her house and tried to process. Kevin was a compulsive liar. Had been for years, apparently. The gym was a lie. But what else was a lie? Their whole relationship? Their marriage? Their kids? She thought about all the small inconsistencies over the years. Times Kevin had said he was working late, but came home smelling like beer. Money that went missing from their account that he blamed on restaurant charges he couldn't quite remember. Friends who mentioned seeing Kevin places he'd said he wasn't. Lisa had always explained them away. Misunderstandings, honest mistakes. Kevin wouldn't lie about important things, except he would. He had. He'd been lying so much he'd had to join a support group to try to stop. When Kevin came downstairs at 5 a.m. the next morning, Lisa was waiting in the kitchen, all the lights on. Jesus, you scared me, Kevin said. Why are you up? I know about New Horizons. Kevin went pale. What? I followed you there. I called the facility. I know you're not going to the gym. I know you've been attending a support group for compulsive liars. Kevin sat down at the kitchen table, looked defeated. Okay, we should talk. Is there a Charlotte? What? The medical documents in your filing cabinet about the daughter we supposedly lost. Is any of that real? Kevin put his head in his hands. No, I created those in case you found out about New Horizons. I thought if you believed we'd lost a child and I was grieving, you wouldn't push me for more details. You just feel sorry for me and let me keep going. So you created fake documents about a dead baby to manipulate me into not asking questions? I know how it sounds. I know it's sick. That's why I'm in therapy. Lisa, I have a problem. I've always had a problem. I lie about stupid things, small things. I don't even know why. It's compulsive. And then I have to create bigger lies to cover the small ones, and it spirals. What else have you lied about? Kevin took a deep breath. A lot. My job, I didn't get promoted last year like I said. I actually got demoted. We're making less money, which is why I've been stressed about finances. The business trips I took last year weren't business trips. I was gambling. Lost about $15,000 before I stopped. The weight loss isn't from a gym routine. I've been so stressed from carrying all these lies that I've barely been eating. The support group is the only thing that's real. The only thing I'm actually doing to try to fix this. Lisa felt tears running down her face. 12 years. We've been married for 12 years and I don't even know what's real. Our marriage is real. The kids are real. My love for you is real. How can I believe anything you say? I don't know, but I'm trying, Lisa. That's why I've been going to New Horizons. I'm trying to learn how to stop lying, how to be honest, how to rebuild trust. By lying about going to the gym? I know it's ironic, I didn't know how to tell you. I was ashamed. They sat in silence. Outside, the sun was starting to rise. I need time, Lisa finally said. I need to think about this. Okay, whatever you need. Over the next few days, Kevin came clean about years of lies. The demotion, the gambling, the money he'd borrowed from his brother and never paid back, the college degree he didn't actually have. He dropped out senior year but told everyone he'd graduated. Each revelation was a small cut. None of them alone were relationship ending, but together they painted a picture of someone Lisa didn't know. Someone who'd been performing their life while lying about the foundations. Kevin kept going to his support group, started individual therapy too, gave Lisa complete access to his phone, his email, his bank accounts, said he wanted to rebuild trust through transparency. Lisa went to therapy herself, processed the betrayal, the shock, the feeling of being married to a stranger. After 3 weeks, Lisa decided to stay in the marriage, work on rebuilding. Kevin was making genuine effort. His compulsive lying was a mental health issue, not malicious deception. He was getting help. They started couples counseling. It was hard, painful, but they were doing it. Lisa thought this was it. The crisis had passed. They were on the road to recovery. And then 3 months later, Lisa got a phone call that made her realize they'd been wrong about everything. I know what you're thinking. This seems solved. Kevin is a compulsive liar. He's been lying about many aspects of his life. He's getting help. They're working through it. The marriage can survive. Except something felt off to me when I read the story. And it should have felt off to Lisa too. Because compulsive lying doesn't usually include creating fake medical documents about stillborn babies. That's not compulsive. That's calculating, premeditated. And when Lisa finally discovered what Kevin was really doing at New Horizons every morning, the truth was so much worse than lying. Okay, but here's the detail that broke the whole case open. The phone call came from a detective, Sarah Rodriguez from Denver PD. Mrs. Morrison, I need to ask you some questions about your husband, Kevin Morrison. Lisa's blood went cold. What kind of questions? Can you confirm his whereabouts every morning between 5 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. for the past 6 months? He's been going to a support group at New Horizons Support Center. Why? Silence on the other end. Then, Mrs. Morrison, I think we need to talk in person. An hour later, Lisa was sitting in a police interview room. Detective Rodriguez sat across from her. Mrs. Morrison, New Horizons Support Center closed 18 months ago. The building has been empty since then. Lisa's world stopped. What? The organization lost funding, had to shut down. The building's been vacant. There are no support groups meeting there. But I followed my husband there. I saw him go inside. What door did he use? The front entrance. The front entrance is locked, has been for 18 months. If your husband has been entering that building, he's been using a side or back entrance. And he's been going there for reasons that have nothing to do with support groups. Detective Rodriguez pulled out a file. We've been investigating illegal activity in that building for the past 2 months. We set up surveillance cameras 3 weeks ago. Your husband appears in the footage, along with 6 other individuals. We need to know what you know about his activities. I don't know anything. What illegal activity? Detective Rodriguez showed her surveillance photos. Kevin entering the building through a side door. Other people she didn't recognize. All carrying bags similar to the gym bag Kevin always took. Mrs. Morrison, we believe your husband is part of an underground gambling ring operating out of that building. High-stakes poker games. 5 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. Monday through Saturday. We've been tracking the operation but haven't made arrests yet. We're trying to identify all participants first. Lisa felt like she was drowning. Gambling? But Kevin said he stopped gambling. He said he lost $15,000 last year but got help. According to our financial tracking, your husband has moved approximately $200,000 through various accounts over the past 6 months. Money coming in, money going out. He's not just playing, he might be running the operation. 200,000? We don't have that kind of money. We know that's what concerns us. We don't know where the money's coming from. Detective Rodriguez explained that they'd been investigating after a tip from someone who'd lost a significant amount of money to the gambling operation. They'd tracked it to the abandoned New Horizons building, set up surveillance, identified 7 regular participants, including Kevin. We need your cooperation, Mrs. Morrison. We need you to help us understand your husband's financial activity, where the money's coming from, whether you've been involved. I haven't been involved in anything. I thought my husband was going to a support group. Did he tell you he was going to a support group? Lisa realized the trap. No. He told me he was going to the gym. I called New Horizons and spoke with Patricia Chen, who told me he was attending a support group for compulsive liars. There is no Patricia Chen associated with New Horizons. The building is abandoned. Who did you actually speak with? Lisa pulled up the phone number Patricia had texted from. Detective Rodriguez wrote it down. We'll trace this. But Mrs. Morrison, I think someone has been feeding you a story. Maybe multiple people working together. We need you to go home, act normal, and let us know if your husband does anything unusual. Lisa went home in shock. $200,000. Underground gambling. A building that had been closed for 18 months. Everything Kevin had told her was a lie. The support group didn't exist. Patricia Chen didn't exist. The whole narrative about compulsive lying and trying to get help. All of it was a construction to explain the early morning absences while hiding something worse. But it still didn't make sense. Kevin came home sweaty every morning. His gym bag smelled like he'd been working out. The weight loss was real. Unless Lisa went home and immediately checked Kevin's gym bag. Really checked it. Unzipped every pocket. Found what looked like workout clothes. But when she examined them closely, they were barely worn, barely washed. More like props than clothes he'd actually exercised in. Found a small bottle of body spray labeled post-workout fresh. Found a spray bottle of water. Kevin had been faking the physical evidence of working out. Spray himself with water to look sweaty. Use the body spray to smell like a gym. Rumple up clothes to look used. All to support the lie that he was exercising. But why? If he was gambling, why not just say he was going to the gym and actually go to a gym? Why all the extra deception? Lisa kept searching, found, tucked into an inner pocket of the gym bag, a small key, the kind that goes to a storage unit or locker. She'd never seen it before. On the back of the key, written in tiny numbers, 0847. Lisa Googled storage facilities near the abandoned New Horizons building. Found one 3 blocks away. Drove there. The facility had keypads at the entrance. Lisa tried Kevin's birthday, their anniversary, the kids' birthdays. Nothing worked. Then she tried the number from the key, 0847. The gate opened. She found unit 0847 on the 2nd floor. Used the key. The lock turned. Inside the unit, stacks of cash. Not loose, organized, bundled, labeled. Approximately $200,000, and a ledger. Handwritten records of bets, payouts, names. Kevin wasn't just participating in an illegal gambling operation. He was running it, banking it, keeping detailed records. Lisa took photos of everything. Called Detective Rodriguez. Within 2 hours, police had raided the storage unit and the abandoned New Horizons building. Arrested Kevin and 6 other men involved in the gambling ring. Kevin was charged with operating an illegal gambling operation, money laundering, and fraud. Lisa learned the full truth over the following weeks as the case built. Kevin hadn't lost $15,000 gambling last year. He'd won it and realized he was good at it. So he'd started organizing games. Small ones at first, then larger. Recruited other players. Took a cut of every pot. Over 6 months, he'd made nearly $200,000. The weight loss wasn't from stress. It was from the adrenaline high of running a successful criminal operation. The energy, the confidence, the happiness Lisa had noticed. All real, because Kevin had been thriving. The fake medical documents about Charlotte weren't to explain going to a support group. They were pre-planted in case Lisa ever suspected the gambling. Kevin's calculation was that if Lisa thought he was grieving a lost child, she'd be too sympathetic to push hard on financial questions. It was a backup manipulation, ready to deploy. The whole story about compulsive lying and attending support groups, a script Kevin had prepared after Lisa followed him. He'd somehow known she was there. She never figured out how, and had someone call her pretending to be Patricia Chen from New Horizons, feeding her a story that explained the early morning absences while hiding the illegal activity. Every layer of lie was designed to lead Lisa away from the truth while making her feel like she discovered something. And it had almost worked. Lisa writes her update from 6 months later. Kevin is in prison. He took a plea deal. 5 years for the gambling operation, money laundering, and fraud charges. He'll be out in 3 with good behavior. I've filed for divorce. It'll be final before he's released. The $200,000 was seized as proceeds of illegal activity. We got none of it. We're actually in debt because Kevin had been using our credit cards to fund the initial gambling operations, thinking he'd pay it all back once the money started rolling in. I'm working 2 jobs now to keep up with the mortgage and the kids' expenses. My mother has moved in to help with childcare. Emma and Noah know their dad is away, but not the full details. They're too young. I'll tell them when they're older. The hardest part isn't the betrayal. It's not even the financial devastation. It's looking back at 6 months of my life and realizing I was living in a completely false reality. I was proud of my husband's fitness journey. I thought we were closer than ever. I thought he was happy, and he was happy, just not for the reasons I believed. Kevin has written me letters from prison, apologizing, explaining. He says he got addicted to the thrill, that the lying became a game, that he was going to stop soon, pay back all our debts, come clean. I don't know if I believe him. I don't know if it matters. I've started seeing a therapist who specializes in betrayal trauma. She's helping me understand that I'm not stupid for not seeing the signs. Kevin was sophisticated, methodical. He created layers of lies that were designed to lead me away from the truth while making me think I was getting closer to it. The scariest realization is that if he hadn't gotten caught, I might never have known. I might have gone the rest of my life thinking my husband was a recovered, compulsive liar who'd turned his life around, when really he was a criminal who'd gotten better at hiding. Emma asked me yesterday why Daddy doesn't come home from his trip. I told her Daddy made some bad choices and has to fix them before he can come home. She asked if he's coming back. I told her I don't know. Because honestly, I don't know who Kevin really is. The man I married, the father of my children, the partner I trusted. I don't think that person existed. Or maybe he did once, and I just missed the moment he transformed into someone else. People ask if there were signs. Looking back, yes, but they were small, easy to explain away. And I loved him, so I wanted to believe his explanations. That's the lesson I'm taking from this. Love makes you blind, but not because you can't see, because you choose not to look. I looked away when money went missing. I looked away when stories didn't quite add up. I looked away when my gut told me something was wrong, because looking meant risking the life I thought I had, and losing that life seemed worse than living with small doubts. I was wrong. Now I'm teaching Emma and Noah that secrets are different from privacy, that if someone you love is keeping secrets that affect your life, your safety, your future, that's not love. That's control. I'm teaching myself the same lesson. Still learning it every day. Kevin gets out in 3 years. He'll want to be part of the kids' lives. I'll have to figure out how to navigate that, but he won't be part of mine. Because even if everything he says in his letters is true, even if he's genuinely remorseful and changed, I can't trust my own judgment anymore. He broke my ability to trust him. But worse, he broke my ability to trust myself, and I don't know how to fix that. This story breaks my heart because Lisa did everything right. She was supportive when Kevin said he wanted to get healthy. She didn't hover or control. She trusted her partner, and that trust was weaponized against her. Kevin's lies weren't just lies. They were layered deceptions designed to lead Lisa down false paths while hiding the truth. When she got suspicious about the gym, he had the Charlotte story ready. When she discovered that, he had the compulsive lying narrative prepared. Each revelation felt like the truth, but was actually another misdirection. That's sociopathic level manipulation. And the worst part, Kevin was doing this while being a present father, a seemingly caring husband, a partner who seemed to be improving his life. The lies existed alongside genuine moments. That's what makes it so devastating. It wasn't all fake. Some of it was real. But which parts? Lisa will never know for sure. This story makes me wonder, how well do we really know the patterns of our own lives? Have you ever had a tiny inconsistency that led to a big truth? Lisa noticed Kevin's early morning routine, noticed small financial discrepancies, noticed changes in behavior. But she explained them all away because the overall narrative made sense. Her husband was getting healthy. That was good. Everything else was just noise. Except the noise was the signal, and the clear narrative was the distraction. How many of us are living with small inconsistencies we're explaining away right now? How many partners, friends, family members have patterns that don't quite add up, but we don't dig deeper because we don't want to know? I think about Kevin's letters from prison, his claims that he was going to stop, pay everything back, come clean. Maybe that's true. Or maybe it's just another layer of the lie. The redemption story he needs Lisa to believe so she'll let him back into their kids' lives when he gets out. Lisa will never know for sure. That's the legacy of this kind of betrayal. Even truth starts to look suspicious. Let me know in the comments, have you ever discovered someone you loved was living a completely different life than you thought? How did you recover? And more importantly, how did you learn to trust your own judgment again? If this story affected you, hit that like button and subscribe. Share this with someone who might need to hear it, and maybe check in with yourself today. Are there small things you've been explaining away? Patterns that don't quite fit? Your gut telling you something's off, but you're ignoring it? Sometimes the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves. The ones that go, I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation. I'm probably just being paranoid. I don't want to seem like I don't trust them. Trust is beautiful, but blind trust is dangerous. Lisa learned that the hard way. Don't wait until you're sitting in a police station to learn it yourself.